Ladies and gentlemen, your fourth bout of the evening. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, please welcome Gary Sudron.
It's a capacity crowd enjoying what has so far been a fantastic evening of fights. Okay, coming up to the cage right now, Rich, we have Gary Sudron.
Yeah, Gary Sudron's the second fighter we've seen tonight from Team Akurei, which is Nathan Boyce's guys out of Middlesbrough. Gary's lost his first fight. He's on a 0-1 record at the moment, but I think that'd be probably a bit false to say that he's anything less than an excellent fighter. The Akurei guys are always superb, and they always bring a lot of skills to the cage. Gary's 5'7", 66 kilos, 28 years old, so he's not a young kid at this now, but he's once again coming in great shape, as you'd expect from an Akurei fighter.
Indeed, Rich.
And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, please welcome Neale.
He's a little bit taller than Gary is, but fights out a team called Steel Evolution. Steel Evolution are a new gym out of Sheffield. Last time I saw Jacob was at Cage Kumite, where he actually was busy choking unconscious Jack Hepworth in the first minute of the first round. Looked like he's quite a composed fighter. Took his time. I mean, even though it was a quite quick finish, he had the guillotine on, did everything right to avoid the sort of his position weakening at all, and then actually choked the guy unconscious. And I'm excited to see what Steel Evolution bring as time goes on, because they are a new gym, and if they've got fighters like Jacob coming out of it, I think they'll do really well locally.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see what else they can bring in future events as well, because there are so many great gyms just in the Yorkshire area. We're seeing that tonight. These guys going from all around Yorkshire, and they're all of a consistently high quality.
Yeah, the standard is really good in Yorkshire. There's a lot of excellent gyms out here. We've seen Akurei, we've seen Farrell's, we've seen Fit 24, Combat MMA, and maybe now Steel Evolution is going to be one of those big gyms as well.
We've got to remember that these guys, 2014, it's not like when you started, or maybe when I started watching MMA, people are specialising.
So, ladies and gentlemen, your fourth bout of the evening, brought to you in association with ISO Gelato. And it's to be fought over three-minute rounds of the amateur mixed martial arts rules in the B class category. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, he enters the cage with a mixed martial arts record, no victories and 1 defeat. Representing Team Akurei from Middlesbrough, Gary Sudron. And his opponent standing across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, enters the cage with a mixed martial arts record of 1 victory and no defeats, representing Steel Evolution from Sheffield, Neale.
Both guys looking very composed, Rich.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, Jacob's a young guy. He's only 19 years old, but from what I've seen of him so far, he looks the real deal. Like, both these guys will be solid fighters. I can't think this is going to be anything less than an absolute barn burner.
Got one guy coming off a loss, one coming off a win. It'd be interesting to see if that has any impact on their performance. I would hope not.
Yeah, like I said, losses mean nothing in this when you're the standard of guys like Gary. He's an excellent fighter, and a loss really doesn't tell a story at all, does it? So both guys stay quite strong. Gary's in the grey shorts and Jacob in the olive-coloured ones, just in case you're not entirely too sure. Both guys jockeying for position at the moment.
It was Neale that initiated the clinch, and he's not getting the best of it as it stands at the moment.
And Gary's a strong physical guy. I mean, he's just muscled into the floor there. Fantastic takedown, straight into side control. You're going to really struggle in the clinch against a guy as strong as Gary Sudron, to be honest. And with training partner like he's got at Akurei, he's going to be well versed all over this cage. Like, there's not an area he's going to be weak at, to be honest. But Jacob, I've not seen much of his striking, but I've seen a bit of his ground game, and it's strong. It's strong stuff. He's constantly trying to create space now. He's managed to regain a half guard there as well as Jacob went to mount. He knows what he's doing. He's trying to create space and look for the escape as well, and he's trying to advance his position. And
but Gary's busy on top. He's not letting him rest
no
for a minute.
He's
Absolutely,
just staying close to him.
Just giving him a horrible time, basically.
Yeah, he's got that shoulder in his face, and he's constantly looking, trying to pass guard. You actually see Jacob there managed to get a half butterfly in and actually advance the position from that half guard back to full close guard now. But sort of good regain of guard there. You know, worked in the butterfly and then worked his way to full guard now.
Okay, so let's see now they're in a stable position. What sort of offense Sudron gets on here?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to see anything from guard here because you know we're still at the AMBs at the moment, a combat challenge. We're not at the stage where there's ground and pound just yet in this fight. This is the sort of penultimate amateur B one, so there is no ground and pound on the floor, which is kind of going to limit Gary's options really. And you know they're both kind of.
And maybe play a little bit more into Jacob's hands if he is good off his back.
Yeah,
this could be the time to start throwing those legs up and working for arms and necks.
Absolutely, he's doing the right thing here. He's trying to get hold of an arm, but I think he just hasn't really got a strategy for Gary's actual physical strength here. Gary's just pressuring him quite tight, and even though Jacob's looking to open his guard and create some space, he's not getting the best of this really. He's got his knee across, looking for a sweep, looking for a scissor sweep there, and
Gary steps away.
Yeah, I think he's made his point there. You know, we're 2 minutes 20 seconds into this round, and you know he's
nice
comfortably winning the round so far.
Sudron coming over the top with that big hook.
Yeah, takedown from Jacob there, attempted for the second time, but we're struggling to finish. He's doing the right things here. You know, he's under the hips, but there's just a great sprawl there from Gary, who's just giving him not a lot of option. And then, you know, Jacob does get him to the floor, but Gary straight away with the underhook, looking probably just to finish out the round quite strong, quite clearly sort of winning this round really.
It's a takedown apiece, but you could argue that obviously Sudron spent more time on top and was busier.
I think you're exactly right. I think that's the story of it really, that Sudron spent 80% of that round on top, looking the stronger of the two fighters. Jacob, you know, stealing a takedown at the end there, and he worked really hard for it as well. Whereas you saw kind of how effortless Gary's was in that first round. He just powered through him, and.
But it was interesting that it was Jacob that tried to initiate that clinch and that takedown, but got the worst of it in the first round.
Yeah,
so maybe he had a little bit of something to prove by going for the second and completing it, getting his hands locked.
And it can't do anything but help your confidence when you score a takedown against a guy like Gary, and who is strong and is a power sort of wrestler as well. He's done really well to get that at the end of the round and show some intent.
Do you think that Neale has been surprised by the power and the strength of Sudron in this particular fight?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what the problem is. You know, you're a 19-year-old. The first time you feel the strength of sort of a shorter, like powerful fighter, it can probably put you off your game a little bit. Like you said, he initiated that clinch and then wanted nothing more to do with it.
And of course, the first time you got to experience that is when you get your hands on the guy in the cage. That's by which time, of course, it's too late sometimes.
Yeah, that's it. And he adjusted well, though. You know, he tried to create space, and he looked good on the floor. He looked like he had a good ground game, did Jacob, and you know, Gary just smothered him really well and playing to his strengths.
And it's possible that maybe Gary didn't like the ground game so much himself, and that's why he stood up out of the guard.
Yeah, that's right. Jacob's come in there off the jab. And managed to force Gary up against the cage.
Some big knees being exchanged. And a decent left there on the exit there from Jacob.
Yeah, slightly concerned by Jacob's low stance here. You know, he's the taller fighter. I'm not sure why he's dropping himself to a level below Gary's. I know he's looking for the takedown, but I think he'd be better off offering something on his feet first. You know, you can see here the counter wrestling from Gary is just fantastic. But he's left himself open there. I don't know.
He doesn't have the hooks in.
He's got that. He's working hard for it though. It's you know he's going to. I think he's probably going to turn him over. Yeah, he's turning away from side control. But a bit of a mistake there from Gary. You know, stayed in turtle a little bit too long. I'm not entirely sure that was the best plan. But he obviously wants it back on his feet.
Steps away one more time.
I do think Jacob needs to get nice and tall here and get behind his hands. You know, because.
See, when Jacob fights long like that jab snapped Gary's head right back.
Yeah, he looked okay from there. And the thing is as well, like when Gary's looking for this takedown, he is just powering the takedown. And unfortunately, Jacob doesn't have much of an answer to that. And, you know, it's a takedown straight to side control, whereas Gary's really causing a lot of problems here for Jacob. And although Jacob's transitioned nicely there, you know,
he's a lovely sweep there.
Caught in that sort of semi-gator roll position and back to top, which is good.
But can he keep him there? This is the big question.
You know, both these guys are creating space really well when on their backs. They've both been in side control and shown, you know, a willingness to re-guard as well. Slightly concerned that Gary's slightly giving his back here.
He's almost got a kind of a half guard.
Yeah, it's the far leg though, which is the concern. I'd be expecting Jacob to just slide that knee through,
and he does.
Yeah, and either take side control.
Now, is he going to get the hooks in now before committing to a submission?
He needs to. Yeah, he's rushed it again there, unfortunately, I think, and it's caused him to get mounted.
Not a position you want to be with Gary Sudron on top of you.
Absolutely
even
not.
In AMB.
Jacob looking good in these scrambles. He's got the sweeps at his disposal. He's got some decent ground game, but he's not taking the opportunities when they're there. Unfortunately, I'd like to see him. When he's taking the back there, he's had 2 opportunities to take the back, and both times he hasn't put his hips in. Now he's been caught in an armbar, quite a deep armbar. He's going to need to step over that.
Spinning round. That was nice. Good escape.
Good escape. Once again, he's staying too close to Gary, and he does run the risk of just straight away being taken down again. He needs to create that space with his hips. He's got the arm in here for an arm in guillotine. I think he's going to struggle from half guard though. But he's re-guarded now, so
this could be dangerous.
He's got this deep, and he's got the arm trapped as well. Nicely. We've seen Jacob finish from here before, but with 10 seconds, I think Gary might just hang on here. But that's a deep guillotine.
But he looks tired, Rich. He does look tired. Has he got enough energy?
I think he's not going to tuck the elbow and finish in time. But
the bell serves Sudron there at the end of the second round.
I think so. He much better show of intent there from Jacob. But he's got to take these opportunities when they're there, because I don't feel that Gary's going to give him opportunities to win this fight. He's going to have to work for them, and he needs to. If there's options to take the back, he's going to have to get them hooks in and work for that either rear naked choke or an armbar from the back or something. But as it is at the moment, he seems content to try and sit heavy on him, but he's not using his hips as effectively as I'd like. And we've seen Gary reverse him twice now when he's actually had his back taken. So something needs to change there.
Obviously, Gary has a number of times in the past 2 rounds given his back up almost voluntarily.
Yeah.
And whether that's a little bit of inexperience or whether he feels comfortable enough to do that because he doesn't feel threatened by Jacob, it's hard to say. But I think it would be a mistake if it was the latter, because we know that Jacob is dangerous off the ground.
Yeah, I think it might be a little bit of inexperience, if I'm honest. I'm not saying it's a mistake. I couldn't possibly comment, but I think against a guy who can finish, I wouldn't be giving my back. But Jacob once again hasn't taken the opportunity, so it's worked out okay for Gary as it stands.
And round 3's underway.
Yeah, it's been good too so far. It's coming out to exchange a bit now.
And a massive takedown.
Massive takedown from Gary there. But keen to see Jacob engaged there. That's excellent. He's coming behind his hands there, and it hasn't worked for him this time. Gary's changed his level and taken that excellent takedown.
And one thing Jacob hasn't lacked in this fight is a sense of urgency, Rich.
No, he's pressured. Even now, we see in front of he's trying to work around and get, he's working knees off the bottom, but he's actually trying to sort of work a pendulum position in here where he can turn around and go belly down, I think, and reverse this for the takedown. He's constantly working to advance his position. It's really good work from Jacob Neale. Gary, though, just a bit too much for him on top.
Just too heavy, too big, too powerful.
Yeah, the weight is similar, but Gary's a well-developed guy, very, very strong, very lean, very muscular, and has a good top position. It's causing quite a lot of problems for Jacob right now.
And he's really driving those knees into the midsection of Jacob Neale right now.
Yeah, good knees from the bottom as well from Jacob Neale, but he's get the worst of those exchanges are.
Neale spinning, trying to change his fortunes in this particular scramble.
Jacob doing the right things. He's trying constantly to get almost a semi-north-south position where he can roll onto his stomach and stand back up again. But mounted now puts him in an awkward position.
Okay, and we've seen this before. Occasionally, Gary seems to be trying to isolate one of those arms.
Yeah, he was looking for an Americana there now, and he's rolled to the armbar, but he's probably not going to be able to finish. Wonderful takedown from the back there from Jacob, but just not strong enough to hold the hips, unfortunately, and Gary pushing his position again. Certainly no lack of intent from both fighters, though. They're both working hard. We're halfway through this 3rd round now, and the pace has hardly slowed at all since those opening exchanges.
Absolutely, Rich. These guys
Buck and roll there. Fantastic work from Jacob. He could just stay on top.
And again, he's got the back. Will he get those hooks?
But he's too high on the back. He needs to be lower to his hips, and he needs to be getting these hooks in, because at the moment he's going to get rolled straight. There we are, rolled straight off there by Gary.
Exactly right.
He's still holding the turtle well. Looks like he's trying to look for the seatbelt to kind of advance his position, but I really feel he should be working a hook at this point, try and break one of his arms and roll him to his back rather than where he is content at the moment, which is staying fairly heavy on him. But Gary not really troubled by this right now. I think he feels he has plenty of options to stand up and move.
But from a judge's perspective, Rich, this is obviously a great position for Jacob to be in.
It is. It's a tough fight to score in this round, is this particular one, because Jacob's really putting some intent into this, but I think he's probably been on the losing end of the first 2 rounds, just based on the positional dominance of Gary Sudron. But he needs to finish this, and with 20 seconds to go, I think he's going to not quite have done enough, but you know, he's finishing strong, and that's all you can ask from the guy, really.
And there's some very big knees coming down into the side of Gary Sudron from Jacob Neale.
Looking better the two fighters in this third round. Great knees to the body, but I think he needed to not score points and look to finish this. But, you know, excellent intent in the third round.
Okay. It's all over. It's going to go to the judges. Rich, the first fight of this evening to go to the judges. We'll see what they think about the action we've just witnessed.
Yeah, that's right. It's the first time. We've had 3 finishes so far, and you know, I'm keen to see what the judges score this one. Myself, I've got Gary winning this one 29-28, but certainly no lack of intent to win the fight from Jacob Neale.
And our capacity crowd here certainly don't feel shortchanged at all from that 3 rounds of extremely frantic action.
It is rammed in here, absolutely rammed. So judges just giving their decisions now to the MC. What's your thoughts on that one, Al?
I think Sudron had it.
Yeah.
I think he...
So, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 hard-fought rounds, we go to our judges this evening. With a split decision, your winner, Blue Gary Sudron.